Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another video in my series on growing your own nutrients, or growing your own supplements, that is. And I keep forgetting I have this playlist. I started it years ago, and then I keep forgetting about it. And so I finally remembered it and then decided quercetin would be the next great one to talk about. Now, I do have a couple other videos in relation to quercetin and its benefits and etc. I will go ahead and put that in the description box down below. I think there's at least two different videos. One goes way back where I was mostly talking about turmeric and how quercetin and turmeric work together, very much the same way that black pepper and turmeric do. And I did that for the sake of people who cannot have black pepper and want to find other ways to get turmeric into their diet. And really, because quercetin is in so many common foods a lot of us eat, that it's really not a whole lot to worry about. Now, I want to make sure I make it clear, even though I'm calling it grow your own supplements, this isn't necessarily about everything that you have to or can grow. If you can't grow for whatever reason, maybe you can't have a garden or your climate doesn't allow for these certain things to be able to grow well there, then remember, you can still just stock up on these things, either fresh or canned, however you want to do it, dehydrated and more. So let's get to this list, and starting off with just a brief explanation, that is that quercetin is a flavonoid found in a great many foods. It's antioxidant, which means it helps to fight or prevent cancer. It's anti-inflammatory, very helpful at dealing with allergies and their symptoms because it's a natural antihistamine. It's antiviral, supports the immune system, and is good for helping to prevent heart disease. There's just a few of the benefits. You'll find more benefits in one of those videos down below. And I think it's the one where I'm talking about grapefruit and quercetin, etc. But I also want to mention another thing, that just like quinine, quercetin is a zinc ionophore, which means it carries the zinc into your cells to help fight and prevent those viruses from taking over, especially the 2020 virus, but really any virus. And this is why so many people during that time frame, 2020 to 2021, were getting quercetin and quinine confused, even though quinine is an alkaloid and comes from completely different plants than quercetin does. But that's where people were getting the idea of boiling grapefruit peels, or really any citrus peels, because those are high in quercetin, but not quinine. So what they were making themselves was a good dose of quercetin that was going to work the same way as quinine, but you couldn't call it hydroxychloroquine, which is the synthetic form of quinine. So anyway, to clear that up real quick. Now let's get to this list of foods and herbs that you can incorporate into your diet or try to grow so that you will always have them on hand to get that quercetin on a regular basis. Top of the list for the highest amount of quercetin is capers. And I don't know when the last time was I ever had capers, and I've never tried to grow them. It's something I keep considering and then just never look any deeper into it. But yes, capers. So even if you're just stocking up on canned capers, there you go. Second highest on the list is lovage. And lovage is an herb I started growing just a few years ago. And it's a great celery replacement, and it is perennial. So it just keeps coming back every year, and it will get massive. My lovage last year got at least 8 feet tall. Mostly it's the leaves that you're going to find the high quercetin content in, but you can also eat the stalks and use them the same way you would celery. So I did dry up some stalks and some leaves of the lovage and the leaves so I could incorporate it into my mixed greens blend, and I still haven't done that yet. I got to get on that. I got to make sure I do that. And then the stalks to use as a celery replacement in whatever I want celery, because it does taste similar to celery and it's very closely related, but it's much stronger. That flavor is very strong. So if you like the celery flavor, you'll like lovage. Okay, moving on. Another one you'll see a lot is red onions, and then shallots, red apples, grapes, your darker colors like reds and purples. So are you seeing a pattern here? Other than some of the herbs I'm mentioning, when it comes to produce, anything that's got a lot of reds and oranges in them are usually going to be high in quercetin. Berries, especially those blues and reds, cherries, scallions, kale, tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, citrus fruits. So as I mentioned earlier, especially in the skins is where you're going to find a lot of that quercetin. So grapefruit, orange, any kind of, mandarin, tangerine, etc., especially those. So I dry, we get mandarins or tangerines, anything that has the thinner peel, and I dry those up. I leave the pith in place because that's important for that quercetin. And I tend to add those to teas and use them in many other ways. In fact, I have a video on the many uses of citrus peels or orange peels specifically, and I'll put that in the description box down below. Peppers. So this can be your sweet peppers, like any of your bell peppers. Many are large, any color, or hot peppers as well, like the Chinese 5-color peppers that you would have seen in the thumbnail photo, and I'll put right here that I grow. My favorite hot pepper to grow. They're beautiful. I love the flavor and their spicy kick and all the wonderful colors they come in. So yeah, it doesn't matter, sweet or hot. If you can't handle hot, look at the sweet peppers, red bell, orange bell, yellow, green. All right, nuts, especially almonds and pistachios, asparagus, any kind of tea that comes from your Camellia sinensis or your Camellia japonica, so that will be black, oolong, white, or green. Elderberry, I would say especially the black elderberry in this case. Buckwheat, cocoa and carob powders. So if you're making your own homemade candies or just adding those things to coffees or making your own type of cocoa out of either of these, there's a good source right there that is also quite tasty. Cilantro, dill, radish leaves, fennel leaves, juniper berries. I love juniper berries. I buy the dried ones from Frontier, and I use my mortar and pestle and crush them and then add them to tea. They add a nice flavor. And juniper berries, they're not actually a berry. It's a conifer, so they're little cones is what they are, but they look like dark blue berries. Tasty. I really love them. Okra, moringa, chia seeds, sweet potato leaves, oregano, figs, and garlic. And I know that I could list off so much more in this list, but a lot of your lists would show, list off each of the individual berries like strawberries and raspberries and currants. And I just am keeping it general. So yeah, there's probably a lot of this kind of stuff that you guys are already growing. And now just know that these can be good sources of quercetin, so you can add these to your diet and really increase that quercetin intake if that's one of those nutrients you need more of. So I hope you found this helpful, and if you'd like to see the rest of the videos in this playlist, I'll be linking to the full playlist in the description box down below, and hopefully I'll remember to keep adding to this particular list. So don't forget to check out those links down there by clicking on more or show more somewhere down here below the video screen. And any thoughts, ideas you would like to share, please put those in comments down below. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.